You know what? I've got an interesting topic on United.
Go on.
And I know you probably love this one because I've seen you have debates with United panelists before on this channel. I think you had one with Staffy, which was quite a good one about 6 months ago. And it's Bruno Fernandes. And if it was me, I wouldn't be playing Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United next season in the starting 11. Let me tell you why. I'd get a new striker and play a striker. I'd have Cunha behind him on the left, and I had Ahmad behind him on the right. And then my two midfielders behind them, I'd go and break the bank for Baleba, because I'm a firm believer that in that system...
In Baleba?
Yeah, I'm a believer.
Terrible joke, but I had to do it. Sorry.
Nah, it's all right, bro. I know you're down bad in it this year. You're 16th in the league, bro. It's all right. No, I'm a firm believer that when you play this system, you need unbelievable legs in the midfield. And I think Baleba is just exactly what this Man United team needs. Exactly what it needs. You got to remember, right, when you're playing this system, yeah, and you've got your full backs pushed out wide, you've got the three at the back, you've got your striker, yeah, and then you've got your 2 10s, right? If you want to call it 2 10s, right? You've then got 2 players in midfield. Now, when you're playing against teams who have a high quality 3 in midfield, you struggle. Now, that's not clever IQ. Anyone that knows about football knows this is true. You know, you say the England boys talk about it back when they had Sven, and Sven used to play it too, and they all come out now and say, why didn't he play a fucking 3 in the midfield? We've seen it for England with Southgate when we played Croatia. We had 2 in midfield, and Croatia just outdone us. So if you are going to play with the 2 in midfield, right, you need unbelievable legs. And I just think Baleba at Brighton is the perfect player for this Manchester United system in that 2. Now, the question is, who do you have next to him? And I just don't think Bruno Fernandes is that guy. Now, I know it's a topic that everyone loves to talk about because it is quite a good debate, but I just don't think he's the guy. I think you need another player. I don't think Ugarte is the guy, by the way, either. Just to put that out there. I don't think you've got the player at the football club. I don't think Kobe Mainoo. And by the way, I shouted Kobe Mainoo the first day Amarin got the job. I said he ain't going to work in this system, by the way. I think you need 2 new players for that midfield area. Baleba, in my opinion, should be Manchester United's number 1 target. Who the other guy is, I'm not 100% sure who that is.
I think, listen, on Mainoo,
I think he gets in the team.
I understand where you're coming from. And you'll get a lot of this that say benching the best midfielder is kind of ridiculous. I think when you say it like that, yes. But at 30 years of age, what Man United need to look to do, and if we achieve it, it means we're a better team. So I'm not married to this idea that no matter what we do, Bruno Fernandes has to start. So if we were able to sign Baleba, if we're able, I think if you put more legs, by the way, in front of them behind people like Mainoo, I think they'll do very, very well. The reason Mainoo a very, very, very brilliant football, very, very, very good and a brilliant football player on the ball. What he doesn't have is the ability to cover the ground like a Baleba does. So I don't disagree with you that you need more legs in there. I get your point to a degree. If Ahmad stays fit and starts to deliver on a regular basis, if Cunha comes in and is a goal scoring and a creative machine, if the fullbacks then are able to start creating more opportunities and scoring more goals, if the lap comes in and is scoring 15 league goals, 20, 25 in all competitions, then I think what Man United can start to do is drift away from using Bruno Fernandes, at least in every single game, at least having other options, other people picking up picking up the brunt of stuff. And I do agree with you that this system needs a lot more speed, a lot more pace. And when we have that, I think a lot of United fans will be more entertained and will be a scarier opposition for a lot of the bigger sides. The only thing I would temper what you've said with is that I know there's potentially a lot of money on offer from Saudi. And I said this the other day, my gut says don't do it. But actually, if you picked up £150 million for Bruno Fernandes, well, that's probably a bit more than what they're willing to offer, 110, 120. You could go out with that money and sign Gyökeres and Baleba. We've already got the money to bring in Cunha. You then maybe go and get yourself an Mbomo. You go out there and buy an Edison for that midfield as well, plus Champions League money, maybe selling others. There is the possibility then, as gutted as I would be to see Bruno go, because I personally have loved watching him play, we could be a better team. And that's the one part of the conversation that I don't think Man United fans are willing to entertain, is that we could become a better team. But we are a club.
Exactly.
And Arsenal went through this.
You've got to put the club before the player, right? The fact is, you need to think about this system. And again, as we spoke about many, many times on this channel, and I spoke about on other channels as well, this system requires players who can play in specialist position. For me, if you had Ederson, I'm not Ederson's biggest fan, right? But I'm thinking about the system here, right? If you had Ederson and Baleba in that midfield too, and then Cunha, Diallo, and let's just say Gyökeres, that is unbelievable, by the way. Yeah, you have unbelievable press from the front with Cunha, Amad Diallo, and your new striker. And then behind, you have two unbelievable ball winners and pure energy in Ederson and Baleba. The fact is, where does Bruno Fernandes get in the team in that?
I'm starting to agree with LB here. I think he's explained that really well. I disagreed when he first said it. I actually think I've been kind of cooked with Bruno. I'm not a fan of him in mentality-wise, but you can't deny the fact that he scores goals for Manchester United. If he does play, and Bruno's in there with Cunha, let's say, where does Diallo play? That's what I don't know. And if you're going to play them all, Bruno's going to drop deep. Does Bruno drop deep well? I don't know. Maybe he does. I don't watch Man United like you do, Tel. But I don't know. I'm kind of agree with LB here. I think that, like a lot of people talk about Baleba. I don't know enough about him. I don't watch Brighton every week. I watch more of Adam Wharton and I like him a lot. But when I look at Baleba, I don't see a guy that you can't get. With Sinkai, Sado and Bissouma both go from Brighton. So he's definitely gettable. Ederson, I don't know what's enough at Atalanta, if I'm honest. Reinders, Manchester City is the one that I want, actually. But Manchester City are looking like they're going to get him. So yeah, I'm looking now thinking where does Bruno fit into this moving forward? Maybe he does, maybe he don't, but Diallo's got to play because he's incredibly exciting. So yeah, maybe one of them misses out. I don't know.
So again, I'm not against it. It's for me, but I'm not also worried about what you said, Potsy, about who plays where, because I'm not someone that doesn't believe in this best 11 notion. And the great example of this is, under Klopp, Liverpool's Klopp team, we could all name their best 11 from their best team, and we could all name it position for position. But this stat came out. I say stat, it's just a fact. That at the end of the season, after the year they won their league title, a stat came out that over the previous 3 seasons, that starting 11 that we all would say is their best only started something like 17 games together over 3 years.
Wow.
And I think that, again, you could probably name City's best 11 in the last 4 or 5 years. And I guarantee you they don't start together as regularly as everybody thinks. And that's what the top teams in the world, in England, and that's what the top teams in the world do, is we need to be able to have that versatility depending upon the opponent. And the reason why City have been so amazing and so consistent in the last 8 years under Pep is because there'll be times where you might go as a rival. I ain't seen John Stones in a few weeks. Where's Mahrez been on the bench for 2 or 3 weeks? And then they come on as fresh as a daisy after getting sub appearances and they blow a team away. Where with Man United, Arsenal with Saka that we've all called out, some of these players are their 52nd start of the season as they're going into a crunch game, where maybe at some of these other teams, players have started 35, 40 games, and there's a little bit more left in their legs. So I'm not against the idea of having a big squad. On Bruno, I love the guy. I rate the guy. I think he's proven a lot of people wrong over the years, especially this season. However, Man United fans, it cannot be about Bruno. I would love us to become a team that wins the Premier League again, and I'd love him to be part of it. I truly would. But if we went out and bought that caliber of player that LB's talking about, and we were a better team without him, I'm not going to cry about it. But what I've noticed a lot in our fan base, probably more now than ever, is we have so many fanboys. We have more people that support players than support the football club. And you see that in the attitude towards Amorim. If it's a player that started to thrive under Amorim or do well, a lot of the people that are behind those players, they love Amorim. If they're a player that's on the peripheral or been loaned out, or maybe there's a rumor they might be getting sold or they're not playing well, so they're getting stick. It's the manager, it's the system. And we have a lot of that at the football club. So there'll be a lot of people that love Bruno that would turn straight away on Ruben Amorim. There's not a lot of people that ever think about the football club. And typically this is when a team's doing badly. When a team does well, you don't even hear this sort of bullshit. But I don't disagree, LB. And the point is, I don't care. As long as we're a better team, I don't care whether Bruno's starting.
You will be a better team with what I said. 100%.
And you could. And again, what you suggested is right. For me, this is the problem I have with people. Staffy's always harping on about, I told you about Ugarte, but you didn't tell us anything we didn't know. We all knew he wasn't Pedri. We all know what Ugarte is. He is a destroyer that breaks up play and wins the ball back. I know he had a terrible game on Sunday, but that's what he does. And I still think there's a place in the squad for someone like that for specific games, for specific moments. But the problem I have with the criticism of Ugarte is you were criticizing him for what he isn't. And that's not his fault. That is, your target's the wrong person. Like, we get a lot of this in the Man United fan base. Oh, I didn't want that profile of player, so I'm going to hate the guy we got instead. That's just fucking stupid. It's really stupid. It's criticize the recruitment team for not buying what we need. But this man is a specialist at what he does and will be useful for 15, 20 games a season.
Agreed.
And I think that's really, really important to have.
Coming off the bench for the last 15, 20 minutes, you're away at a big game, you're winning 1-0, sub him on. Yeah, it's fine. It's okay to have around the squad. The thing is, and he'll accept that, I would imagine, Bruno Fernandes ain't going to accept being a squad rotator. And you've got to convince me as to where this guy could fit into the team. And is he better than Amad Diallo in behind the striker? Not in my opinion, not off the right. I think Cunha's better for the legs and what he can give you as well. And then I don't think you can play him in a 2. If you think Bruno Fernandes can play in a 2-man midfield, then I just think you just don't know.
We need to raise the levels. And every person in every squad around the world, whether you're 16th in the league or first, their position in the side should always be under threat, whether it's about potential recruitment, an academy player, an improved member of the squad. No one's position should be a guarantee. And the one thing I think it would do is get an even better version of Bruno. So even if he's still part of the squad, when he comes in, is he going to work harder, play better, make better decisions? Absolutely. The one thing Man United fans are scared of, or sections of the fan base are scared of, is their favorite players having their positions under threat. The amount of times we'd be linked, like Martial fanboys were the start of this. Well, we can't sign him. What about the development of Martial? Well, if he's good enough, he'll keep improving. If he can handle the pressure, he'll keep improving. If he can't, then he ain't right. This is one of the reasons we're 16th. People will blame Amarim because they're stupid, and they put all the blame on him. And they forget about all the mistakes we've been making for 12 years. And Martial's not even to blame for this. The club are for allowing it to happen. Every time we signed proper competition for Martial, essentially he went into his shell and didn't have a great season. That competition would leave, or he'd become the main man again. Chest would go out. I'm ready. He'd have a really good season. You sign another striker, or you sign another left attacker, went into his shell. Something about the man's ability, the fact that we enabled a player to do that, and we could all witness it, and the club didn't go, right, you're not right for this club. Because Man United should always have competition for every single position. It's why City are so good. It's why Barca are so good. It's why Real Madrid are invariably so good, because there is competition everywhere in their squads for players, and it keeps everybody on their toes. Man United, we've got such weak fans nowadays. No, my player needs to be protected and left alone. Like, I love Ahmad. I love Mainu. But if we sign Mbomo and we sign Cunha, and they're in the 10 roles and they're fucking killing it, I don't care if Ahmad's on the bench.
You got to have a squad.
We sign Cunha and we sign Mbomo, but then next season, Garnacho and Ahmad are the best 2 attackers in the league, and the new signings are on the bench. Do you know what, boys? I don't give a fuck because my team's better. People have got to start putting the football club.
We never used to do this, by the way, Terry. We never used to do this. I get this from Arsenal fans as well. Like, where would so-and-so play? Where would so-and-so play? It's a bit different with me and LB were doing it. We're trying to work out a new system in our head, right? With what Amarim's going to put in place. But when it comes to like Arsenal when they last won the title, we had Kanu and Wiltord on the bench, mate. We had Reyes on the bench, bless him. We had Van Persie and Fabregas coming through. This was a squad. Do you know what I mean? This is why we won stuff. Edu and
fucking hated that team so much.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone hated that team, right? But you had it right in 99, and in 2008, it was incredible what you had, So I think that we never used to talk like that back then. We didn't go, oh my God, you're buying Tevez. Well, where the hell is Rooney and Ronaldo going to play? Do you know what I mean? You never did that. It was just
no one.
For me, it was like we don't do that. And I wanted to ask you if you've got more faith in your transfers now, because when I look at the summer you just had before the new regime, it really is actually probably one of the worst summers in the history of Manchester United, in my opinion. When you go spend 77 million euros on Højlund, 65 million euros on Mason Mount, and 50 million euros on Onana, absolute L's, all 3 of them, to be fair. And then obviously now you look at what you've had with Dorgu coming, obviously, but you've got Yoro, Ugarte, De Ligt, Xerxes, and Mazraoui. Have you now got more faith that your signings will get? You won't get any more flops, sort of thing.
I'm more hopeful, but I have got more faith. I'm more hopeful, but I'm still skeptical. in the social media world, that means I'm an Ineos plant and I'll back everything they say and do. But in reality, I'm liking what we're linked to. There hasn't been a player that we've been credibly linked to yet where I've gone, oh, fuck off. Like this time last year, we were getting linked to Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm liking I like who we're linked to, but it's about the delivery. It's not about who we're trying to sign. It's I'll be judging us on who we land and who we get over the line. But, you know, if it's Cunha's and Mbomos and Edison's and, you know, Milinkovic-Savic's in goal and stuff, then I'd look at that and go, they really look like they fit what we're doing. Then you've got to see the proof in the pudding as well. And I'm going to be keeping my feet very firmly on the ground. However, I do trust the Baradas, the Wilcotts of this world, the Christopher Favels, far more than I do the accountants. I know, by the way, none of these guys were really making decisions this time last year when the transfer window started because they barely had their feet under the table and they had to act quickly. And we shouldn't have kept the manager, which all three of us said that last summer. Like, we don't need to go over all ground. So I do have a little bit more faith that we'll get it closer to correct this year. So, yeah, let's see what happens. Viewers, give us your thoughts and opinions. We have a few super chats here, actually. Jiminy here says, Terry, if Spurs win the Europa, I'll donate you 100 Australian dollars super chat. Big up the best football channel on YouTube. May the best team win. Come on, you Spurs. Well, listen, I appreciate that. And, yeah, if you win, at least that'll be a little softener for me. It'll be a little softener if you do beat us. We actually go into White Hart Lane on Sunday, people. Big group of Spurs and United fans filming a big preview outside the stadium. So can't wait to bring that to you guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. If we miss Champions League, we might sell Bruno to Saudi for money. This is true. And again,
anyway, Josh,
we made it. Listen, at the end of the day, people are laughing about the money. I said the top journalists and the people connected to Saudi have said they're willing to break the British transfer record. Now, nobody knows yet whether that means...
That is crazy.
The British transfer record is 106 million for purchases, but the British transfer record for sales is 140 million. So it's one of those two. If they're really willing to do it, it's between one of those two. And
if it's anything near to 100 million, you've got to say yes. If it's over it, I mean, it's no brainer. Let's be real.
Yeah. If I think we can sign the players that, for instance, LB mentioned, if it's like, yeah, we can get Edison and Believer for that money, plus we know we're getting Cunha and Mbomo, that I'm looking at that and thinking that does feel worth it to me. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, actually.